Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter 8, useful and harmful microorganisms. In your textbook on page number 88, the starting of the topic is can you recall? In this section, can you recall? First question is what is meant by microbes? What are their characteristics? And second question, how did you observe microbes? Students, in 8th standard, we have studied microorganisms. Before we learn which are useful and which are harmful microbes, how are they useful? It is very important that we know what are microbes or what are microorganisms. We humans do not see microorganisms easily with naked eyes, as human eye is capable of visualizing and observing things very clearly which range from millimeter onwards, and the size of microorganisms which range in micrometer and nanometer. Here in this slide we can see the different sizes of living organisms, that is from meter, millimeter, micrometer and nanometer. The smallest microorganism, the size of smallest microorganism is in nanometer, then micrometer, and then millimeter, and then meter. So we can define microorganism as microorganisms are very small living organisms that we can only see with a microscope. We cannot see microorganisms with naked eyes. We have studied different types of microorganisms in 8th standard. Many microorganisms all around us are useful while some are harmful, and hence in this topic the microorganisms are divided into two categories. First is useful microorganisms and second is harmful microorganisms. In this part we take more information about useful microorganisms. Useful microorganisms, they are used by people for making food and for the production of medicines, while microorganisms also play important role in an ecosystem. The microorganisms, they act as decomposers in the recycling process of nutrients, and hence they are called as decomposers. So certain type of bacteria and fungus, they play important role as decomposers in an ecosystems and also different nutrient cycles. In our daily life, we use microbes for our benefits, and these useful microorganisms are lactobacilli, rhizobium, yeast and penicillium. First, we will study the useful microorganisms which are very useful in our daily life, that is lactobacilli. Single lactobacillus and plural form is lactobacilli. Lactobacilli are minute rod-shaped or rectangular in shape. These bacteria are anaerobic bacteria. What is meant by anaerobic? That is, they can produce energy without use of oxygen. Lactobacilli bacteria are also called as fermentive bacteria, as they take part in a fermentation process. Lactobacilli are very useful in food industry. We have often made a curd at home. Curd contain lactobacilli bacteria. We know the procedure of making curd. That is, when you add few drops of buttermilk into milk which is already boiled. After 8 to 10 hours, you will see milk turns into curd. Curd contain bacteria called lactobacilli. Once lactobacilli bacteria enters into milk, it multiplies rapidly. Lactobacilli convert lactose sugar that is present in the milk into lactic acid, and this process is called as fermentation. In short, conversion of lactose sugar into lactic acid is called as fermentation. But how curd is formed? Here in this slide we see lactose, in the middle lactobacilli, and at the bottom lactic acid is formed. In short, lactose get converted into lactic acid due to lactobacilli. Now, how curd is formed? The pH of milk is neutral and become acidic in the formation of curd, and in this process proteins present in the milk, they get coagulate, that is condensed, and these proteins coagulate to form a curd. Now these lactobacilli bacteria are also useful in different industries, and hence here we see different uses of lactobacilli. First use, various milk products like buttermilk, yogurt, ghee, cheese, Shrikhand, etc. can be obtained by the fermentation of milk. Second, lactobacilli fermentation is useful for large scale production of cider, cocoa, pickles of vegetables, etc. Here the word cider is a apple juice. Third use is lactobacilli and some other useful microbes taken together are used to treat abdominal discomfort. याचा अर्थ आपल्या शरीरामध्ये पोटामध्ये जर काही प्रॉब्लेम झाला तर आपल्याला डॉक्टर्स बटरमिल्क प्रेफर करतात किंवा कर्ड घ्यायला सांगतात आपल्या डाएटमध्ये, कारण आपल्याला त्याच्यापासून रिलीफ मिळतो म्हणून. फोर्थ, leaven fodder offered to domestic cattle like cows and buffaloes is fodder fermented with the help of lactobacilli. The lactobacilli fermentation processes is used to make wine and some types of bread also. Here we complete the first useful microorganism, lactobacilli, and uses of lactobacilli. Thank you.